Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP episode. I don't know, what episode are we on now, guys?
A lot.
356.
There we go.
356.
Thank you, Peter. I
Here to
rely
help.
on you guys for everything. So,
I never know the numbers.
luckily we have Peter here. So, anyway, I'm Lucas. I am joined tonight by Peter
Forever Destron.
and Phil
Hello.
and Anna.
I thought it was just going to be me, you, and Christian tonight, and I was going to make a microcasters joke, but now I'm just one of five.
I'm sorry, Anna. I have friends, other friends that came and wanted to join us. And we also have Christian.
What up? I was thinking the same microcasters joke, but now Phil and Peter are here, and I'm very happy they are.
Yes.
Well, in the text chain, it was like, hey, who wants to be on tonight? And I said yes, and no one else did. And I didn't, therefore, I didn't know you guys
Hey,
were gonna be on.
that Destron influenced me to make a bad good decision on Monday, so, you know.
What was this?
Ooh,
I showed you what it was. I bought that
it's little.
Japanese chase spy changer. Peter, I bought it. Be here tomorrow.
I had no doubt that you would do the right thing.
You were right.
Congratulations.
I took another 20 minutes to think about it, and I was like, is this one, if I don't get it? And I would look back in 6 months and be like, I should have got that. And the answer was yes. So
Hello, the rest of it at house.
that's not what we're
Awesome.
talking about tonight, but it is what happened.
Bought some universe spy changers today.
Whoa, I love the Universe Spy Changers.
Wait,
Got
you had some universe spy changers that you didn't have, or were you looking
That was-
for additional versions?
no that I didn't have because that was during the first divorce, and I wasn't allowed to spend money during the first divorce because divorces are expensive. So I was like, I'll just get them later, and later became 20 years. So here we are. I got Hoist, Jazz, one of the Optimuses, and where'd it go? Doodly-doo, Camshaft.
Camshaft. Yeah.
The listings pop
exciting.
shipping. Yeah, I'm excited.
Those are good ones.
Now I can't remember. Did those have packaging variants as well? So,
Slight, yeah. Some said Hasbro.coms.
Camshaft and Ironhide were packaging variants. Well, depending on which camshaft. There's two. Because they were also just Wars and Ironhide from the third KB run? Second KB run? The second KB
Second.
run. Sorry, it was the third run in America. Second KB.
what is this?
There were two camshafts in the Universe
QB
Spy
that you're talking
Changers.
about?
There's the Wars one and there's the G1 dude. Who's more like Blue Streak than Camshaft, but no, whatever. He's somebody.
Speaking of universe, did you guys see the packaging for tow line?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So it says, and I'm gonna read it off of this because it's a lengthy title. Robots in Disguise 2000 Universe Tow Line.
I mean,
And-
that would be how you have to specify. Because
Yeah.
they named 2 things, robots in disguise, 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, robots in disguise.
But it's
That
just like
makes sense.
that's how you must address him at all times.
they
That's his official name.
could have just called the series Car Robots and not localized it, and it would have been way cooler.
They're just random. Like, of course it's a car robot.
It's a much better name.
It's a
very
buzzworthy
obvious.
toy, so it's going to be sold in Target. So I think Target didn't want the Japanese name. They instead wanted their buddy who
I
works
mean,
at
of
the
course.
printing, the printing press to get paid by the letter.
I didn't pay
They're
attention
not-
to that part. Did they shrink the font, or is it just
It's just like this big. It's like a paragraph.
cool?
Yeah.
It's just a big wall of text.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm pretty sure though that Christian somehow willed this into being, because the other day, like literally what?
Monday.
It was literally on Monday. Christian was like, "What happened to Toe Line?" And here we are.
He was ready to sit at a search party for Toe Line. He was like,
Yeah.
"We have to find him. He's in trouble. Without
I was
us, he could be lost forever."
this close. Okay, more like this close. I'm this close to buying one of the $50 listings on eBay for the pre-packaged but final samples. The gray market dudes.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely didn't steal this, dudes. I love me some RID.
I never watched it. I just watched Car Robots.
Watch the American
Just-
dub. It's so fun.
Watch Car Robots, grit your teeth through it, and then never watch anything else.
RID is fine. It's silly. It's not meant to be the most serious of them. It's better than any of the War for Cybertron ones. I can tell you that.
I'll give you
much.
that. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
That's a low bar.
It is better than. It is
Yeah, it's
better
hard to
than
come up with,
Armada,
isn't it?
Energon, and about equal with Cybertron.
So Anna, how excited would you be if they had a Kiss Players 4-pack from exclusive to Target?
I'd be very excited. I would love watching everyone react to it. Like I would buy one, duh. But the most fun I would have with it is watching everyone else react as if it was, wild and crazy thing and not just another Transformers series.
They're
I'd
fine
enjoy it.
toys. They're
In the
fine
reveal
toys.
video last week, they name dropped Kiss players, did they not?
They did, and I was so happy that they did that because, obviously, we got this 4-pack coming of Troop Builders. We saw the pictures. We all saw that the animated Auto Trooper came with a proper Kiss Players Auto Rooper head, and the first thing I said is, "Well, screw the whole animated thing, and I want the Auto Rooper head." And I'm just glad that they properly mentioned that it was a Kids Players homage. It made me happy because they could have kept quiet about it, right? They could have just been like, "Oh, this is just a mysterious second head so you can have some variety in your troops." But they didn't. They talked about it, which is good.
They could have been generic and said like, "Oh, here's a head homaging a Japanese design."
They could have, but why? Why not name it? Because it's a perfectly legitimate Transformers toy series. It's really easy to collect too because there aren't many pieces, except they're all freaking expensive.
I guess I can't make that face too much anymore because now I own a Kiss player.
Atari Scream's the only one that's expensive.
But I will say, I bought the one that did not come with the girl. There was an incomplete one on eBay. I bought the hot rod because I wanted the stripes on the GT40. And they're pretty.
Christian,
and it
basically
didn't come with the girl. It's great.
Christian, I basically got that hot rod at the same time. I found a complete inbox one, and he found the loose without the girl one, and we are both happier people now.
I think I found them both. I think you found mine and I found yours.
I think it was that way, yeah, because I think I
Yeah.
found it, and I was thinking about getting it because it was like I've wanted this for so long, but I want the box so I can display it properly in my setup over there. You can barely see in the corner. I have them set up in a row on my shelf.
Mine's right there. Right there.
How has that mold aged?
It's pretty good still. Honestly,
Like-
out of the three, I would only say the Convoy/Optimus has aged out of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely the best of the alternators molds, so it already had a high platform to stand on.
Yeah,
It's
'cause I never got
good.
that one. I never got Mirage. I always wanted it, and then it just, alternators kind of came and
Go
went.
get
and-
it. Like,
Yeah.
make it a priority. Go get any of the 4.
Okay.
It's pretty complex for
Yeah.
its time, and it doesn't tag together as good as it would if it was a new toy. Right? If it was a new toy, it would have a lot more places for things to tie together.
I
But
see.
it's still quite good, right? Like, I enjoyed posing it, I enjoyed playing with it. It'll come off the shelf to play often enough that Optimus/Convoy will probably never leave the shelf because it's just not fun to play with anymore. I don't think it was fun to play with when it was new.
It was all right. It was better than like the Mustang mold.
Yeah, Grimlock Wheeljack mold was not good.
Yeah.
It looks pretty in vehicle mode. They all look pretty in vehicle mode.
If you get it to tab together properly after you transform it the first time.
So I think the levels of the 4 GT40s: Clear Mirage, Kiss Player's Hot Rod, Mirage, Alternator's Hot Rod. And that's not to say Alternator's Hot Rod is bad.
Mhm.
All 4 of them are very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty high bar. The Alternator's Hot Rod's pretty darn good.
It is. It's
the
just
worst of the
Christian
4.
and I
which
talked
is
about
incredible.
it. And the worst thing about it is just that the flame paint on him, it would be paint in real life, decals on the toy. The flame decals just they kind of take away from the like realness of the car, right? The car looks more real with the generic stripes that it has in the Kiss Players version.
It's something about the stark whiteness and the crispness of the stripe decal that the flames being, orange and yellow and flame colored, they kind of fade into the red base color instead.
I think that's one of the
we're
reasons
talking about one decal difference between the two. It's splitting hairs at that point. Whatever one you can get it.
I think I'm attracted to the Mirage mold or the Mirage paint scheme because it is that crisp blue with the white stripes. And that was a paint job you saw common on that car for the few times that car would ever be seen.
I saw the inverted version of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would recommend getting the Reaper label set if they're still doing that one, because it's very small, but it adds just a couple little G1 touches, and it looks very nice.
Speaking of Mirage and repro labels, the Toxitron G2 Mirage, he definitely needs some repro labels. That guy looks cool, but he almost looks like it's a factory prototype because A, the colors are so wacky, and B, he just seems almost naked in terms of the lack of deco on him.
He needs more crocodiles.
Yeah.
That amount of gray that comes in the robot mode is a little distracting compared to like what you would think of. So yeah, I think some labels or something would help it. Maybe just
Still
paint.
getting it though. That thing's pretty.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's so fun. I'm glad
All
that
of them
we're
are
getting.
Gorgeous.
I'm honestly not in love with the MMC Sphinx figure because MMC did the Watermelon Mirage a few years back, and I missed it. And I talked myself out of it, and I'm glad I did now that I've actually owned a regular Sphinx because that mold is it's okay. It was a really good MP Mirage to fill the space for a while, but it wasn't a lot of fun to own for me, so I stopped owning it. Like a lot of things.
Let's see. The Watermelon Sphinx is the only one that I kept. I got rid of all the others. I had 3 others.
If
I had the Watermelon one,
8 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
all those Toxitron things. I know they weren't officially revealed yet, but all of them look so good. That next wave. And we got a freaking Laser Cycle Jazz. They're just calling it Laser Cycle, which is fine. But like, I bought a second one to do myself because I was like, they're never going to do that. It's too obscure.
Well, now you need something else out of it.
My sentiment with all of those, though, is that they all need repro labels. Like, they just all seem like they could use another set of tampos on them or something because they just seem like, all right, you got the big bright colors, but then they seem very barren after that. Jazz especially.
The orange jazz, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need two sets for that jazz because I'm going to make him into Shatterglass Stepper. It's perfect. Just give me the stickers.
I think G2 stuff generally had a lot of egregious stickers, so having sticker sets for these would be nice. Like, it would be kind of guessing what the stickers would have been, you know, since these are so far all canceled things.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dead End has enough.
Yeah.
Dead End is really good.
He has enough. He's got enough paint operations.
Yeah, it's like they just spent all the budget on him and had nothing left for the other toys in the old wave.
It's fine because Shadow Strip was the same way. Very, very thorough on paint on that one. So
yeah,
good. He'll blend in.
You know, question, we were talking about them all being canceled toys before. Does Dead End really count as a canceled toy at this point?
It's not.
We already had.
Well, Dead End had a Combiner Wars toy.
Right.
Yeah.
We've already had the G2 Combiner Wars set. So it's like
hard to say.
canceled.
It's still
It was canceled in G2.
It was canceled in G2, so that's
an interesting philosophical question.
And the only reason that the Stunticons
question.
are getting better decos is because the Stunticons are actual characters that the commoner would want, whereas Laser Cycle and Toxitron are things that only people with brain damage would want.
I am interested on why Shadow Strip has a new name and Dead End does not.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have a new name. I hadn't even processed that yet.
Why wasn't that just G2 Universe Drag Strip? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because it's being released in a G2 set. Shadow Strip was released in that Velocitron set. So maybe it needed to be a person who could be in the race, since it was a race in tribute of the Wrecker series that everyone loved.
Regular Deco Drag Strip was in that book. That terrible, terrible book that we had to read.
I was going to say, what a world do we live in that we get an entire line of canceled G2 figures? I mean,
it's crazy. It's really fun.
And one Universe figure.
Wow. But
it's
I'm curious how well this is going to sell, though. We'll see. I feel like some of the last Velocitron stuff did not sell that well, like at least in my Walmart. I don't know for you guys, like how it sold.
Is this Walmarting? Is this going to Walmart? The Toxitron set?
Yes.
Seeing that on shelves, like I can see it as an Amazon series, like the Wreckers set.
Peter.
But
where'd Peter go? Oh, laptop rebooting, he says.
He heard about Walmart and said, "Oh, Walmart," and ran away.
Yeah, we haven't seen Grimlock in a while, except that first image of his packaging back when it first leaked.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're missing a Voyager because there's no way it's solid case as a cloud cover.
Probably not, no.
So at least one, maybe two Voyagers. I'm hoping they do the Jungle Seeker, but make it a Conehead and use the Dirge wings. Just because nobody else uses Dirge wings. Think about it. What other Seekers use Dirge wings? None of them.
They're kind of the worst wings, though.
I just want to see them reused.
I do find it interesting that if you went with the color pattern, so, you know, we had Shadow Strip. So if you continue to do that, like the color, he's dark, he's shadow. So if you did that with Dead End, would he be Red End?
Dead Red? Red Dead?
Oh, Red Dead, yeah. Or Dead Red.
It's a
Dead
video
Red
game, they get sued.
Fun. Yeah.
Probably.
No, they just call it Decepticon Red Dead. And they're fine.
There we go.
I think they would still get sued. I don't know. Are those generic enough words? Probably.
Probably, without the rest of the title.
All right, so stopping on the word choice thing, did anyone watch at least a good chunk of the Deathsaurus prototype walkthrough?
I got like 7 minutes in before I get distracted.
Yeah, I did not make it all the way through, maybe about 2/3, and that was while I was doing something else.
Tell us what happened, Phil.
He says the word transform, and And then he stops.
yeah,
He's like,
that's
I
early.
mean convert.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to use it.
Yeah. So
That
that's
is
just funny
funny.
with
So
like,
they don't
this is-
Xerox their Kleenexes.
Yeah, this is an edict from upon high. It certainly seems like.
I guess that can be our next story, since we're going to be talking about all the news and reveals and stuff. Could be the Death Source video. So backers were sent a link to the video for the what did he call it? Like, it's like an engineering sample of Death Source
Mhm.
to
The
make sure
first
the
one.
engineering works.
Is the final
And,
plastic colors, as I understand it, as well. No paint.
So backers were sent the video, but as far as I can tell, it's just a regular link. So if you find the link, you can just go look at it. And yeah, it's a video where basically Evan from Hasbro spends 37 minutes showing off a engineering test copy of Deathsaurus that should help you understand what you're going to get. Not like you can back out on a HasLab, really, but I guess you can, kind of.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that what I saw watching the video was that I'm not going to hate it. I really don't think I'm going to hate it. Like, I've been worried since Saber that I was going to get the Deathsaurus and be like, oh God, something's with it that just makes it feel like, not worth it to me. But so far, I'm pretty impressed by what I saw. It's big, it's covered in ratchets, it looks nice. It looks like what they advertised.
Well, the question I have, so I guess they mentioned on one of the streams or podcasts or whatever, I don't know, whatever you call the thing that BMAC was on, that this was originally going to be a leader class toy, right?
Yeah, I was on an interview for another show. So another podcaster interviewed BMAC and Delaney, and BMAC mentioned that before Star Saber had so much success as a HasLab, that they were going to do it as a leader class figure in the Legacy line. And they decided, well, we wanted it to match. And the way he put it was a little more positive than the Suede that might come to your mind first. It was, we wanted it to go together. If Star Saber was going to get a HasLab treatment, which resulted in him, having Leo, having the right accessories, being a little bigger than a leader, then they wanted to do the same thing for Deathsaurus.
Well, but I think it's interesting that I would have almost kind of felt like it would be a commander class, not a leader class figure. I don't know that they could actually fit, it in really, unless they really did some repacks and stuff in that wave to be able to even fit it in as a leader class figure.
They had that design back to Power of the Primes.
Mhm.
Yeah, they probably did a little more than blow it up. Or I bet if we would have got it as a leader, it probably would not have the breast animals. It probably would have had sculpted details to remind you of them, but not actually the breast animals. And this one has them. And, he shows them off in the video and they both work. And it's actually nice to see that, they work. Honestly, they work just as well as the MMC ones do. MMC the ones they put out are they're fine, but they don't match the fanciness quality of the figure they go to. And the ones that go to this Deathsaurus feel like Generations toys that match the overall feel a little bit better. At least that was my first impression of an on-painted copy in the hands of another person.
I liked the picture that they sent out, or I saw it somewhere of the Eagle one in bow mode. That looked incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Yeah,
The
they
whole
mentioned
thing's
how
really
the
well
butterfly
good.
joints really help with that.
I bet they do. Give it to me. Put it in my little hands.
I really liked it when they showed it next to Star Saber, and you really got to see how the two scale next to each other. And also, I feel like Deathsaurus is better proportion because he is, for the most part, one solid toy versus two guys who combine into each other. or 3 guys that combine into each other, depending how you look at Star Saber and Victory Saber. So it feels much more homogenous in terms of being a silhouette of a not human, but bipedal, I don't know. Yeah,
being,
exactly.
entity.
Yeah,
robot.
For those of us who are a
Chicken.
little put out by the price of Deathsaurus, I think seeing how big he was really did help me kind of relax a little bit, because like with Star Saber, you got 2 figures, you could tell yourself that you're basically paying for a commander and a leader, and then a little bit of like premium packaging and the Micromasters and everything. But with Deathsaurus, you're paying the price of a Titan from a few years ago for a commander class figure. So you really have to impress me this time, right? Last time people were able to kind of calm me down a little bit by being like, Anna, it's a Generations figure. It doesn't matter if it has the worst garbage shoulders that you've seen in years. It's still just a Generations figure. But this time, they're so bad. They're so bad.
I'm glad I understand what you mean with
These
that now,
are
but
amazing.
I don't
I don't know what
agree.
you're
I've
talking
never
about.
agreed. I know what you're talking about. I just
They're
don't understand
amazing
it.
they're amazing if you have like an injury to your shoulders and you can't move them
They're
anymore.
robots. They don't have human joints.
But he's a very animated character. He's a swordsman. He needs good arm motion.
He can move all of his sword positions that he needs.
Not really. He needs to be
He
able
needs
to
a
be
longer
like,
sword,
"Ooh."
that's for sure. But
he's
that'll be
not
rectified
Generation
soon enough.
Skids. I'll say that much.
He's not. That's true. He got that.
Yeah. Generation Skids, I think, has the award for the worst shoulders in a modern Transformer.
Yeah, it's rough. I am crazy about shoulders. Like I opened my little RC yesterday or so, and like her shoulders are too low. Her shoulders are just like, instead of being, here, they're like down here, and it's just visually
They
it
are
just drives me
robots.
wild.
They
Yeah,
are
that
robots.
totally
I
makes
know
sense.
her shoulders could be anywhere. Her shoulders could come out of her head if that's the way she was designed as a robot, and she would still be a really dumb looking robot, but it'd be fine. But I'm just wild about shoulders. But Deathsaurus, they showed his shoulders, and his shoulders look fine. I would say as far as shoulder assemblies go, it's probably like my second favorite kind of shoulder assemblies. It's the ones that kind of like move up and you can see the gears and stuff under it to help support the shoulder.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I know it's really hard for me to explain things correctly there, but it looks a lot like the MMC shoulders.
I got it, and I said that's nice. I agree with you. I like those kind of shoulders.
I think that helps because he does have big shoulders that could run into his head or run into the side and not go all the way up, but they made it where it does. So it looks good. They showed off the articulation. The articulation looks really nice. Everything is great. They even showed off Boater, and Boater is the best surprise they did with that Kickstarter. See, when you're done, hey, we're going to throw in the other 2 Micromasters, and we're getting freaking Boater, and that's awesome. Boater looks good.
Anna, are you getting the MMC Deathsaurus?
I have it, and I really like it. I don't know what I do. I get this one, and then I stare at them both, and I have them fight, and I decide which one.
You sell MMC and then get their inevitable convention exclusive Redgeist.
That's probably going to happen. You're probably right about that. And that way I could have more characters. Or I could just trade mine out for the IDW version, which would also be fine. They're 2 different people, right?
I can't
IDW
wait.
Source is a very different person.
I can't wait for when they drop the surprise Dino King box set on Pulse to coincide with the release of Deathsaurus.
We have all 6 Dinobots now.
Dino King is the 2023 equivalent of Galaxy Shuttle.
Yeah.
I think
Except
it'll
more
happen,
available.
yeah. I think you're right about that. It may not
Deathsaurus
be
has
more
to have some
available.
dudes.
Which is that
Yeah, I agree
Galaxy
with
Shuttle
that.
still on stock in Walmart?
No, it went out the
been
same
going
day,
in
but
and
people
out
are
of stock,
receiving
I
it.
think. Yeah.
What's that, Lucas?
I think it's been going in and out of stock, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because it did like pop up again in the last week or so. So if you missed out, start checking Walmart.com.
It's a good reason to join our Discord because I in fact shared it in our Discord the moment I knew about it. I didn't need it, but to share it. But yeah, I agree. He needs friends because there really aren't any other Victory Destrons that have modern toys. Am I
Are
missing
you saying
anyone?
Galaxy
I'm trying to
Shuttle
think.
needs friends?
No, the
Death
Source
needs his
friends.
Oh, okay, okay.
He's
I was gonna
getting the dino cones.
Because he's bringing enemy Micromasters with him, right? He's bringing in Micromasters that are his enemies, so he needs friends.
But he like imprisoned them, I think is what he said in the video today.
Probably.
He's captured them.
He probably captured them.
And then you help set them free to rejoin their teammates when you open them up.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
We're saviors.
You're not opening a toy, you're liberating figures.
I hope they do something
Maybe
neat with the
not.
packaging for that.
Oh, that would be cool. They just did like a little cell.
Yeah,
Like a little
just,
cardboard cell bars.
just a piece of the artwork that looks like a cell. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just something amusing. Yeah. That would be really fun if they just went for that.
It doesn't even need to be like 3-dimensional or whatever. Just put it on the backing art. No big deal.
Did he show up the chair, Phil?
I didn't get that far in the video.
Okay.
Maybe if I watched the whole thing, I would have seen that.
Yeah. I don't
from
know
what
if
I
he showed up
saw-
the chair or not. I'm excited for the stupid chair. I think with the color they showed for it, it didn't come out looking very good, but I don't know. Chairs are fun for my robots, so
It would be better in person.
I need to go to Ross and look for some Starscream chairs.
Oh, there you
What
go.
are you going
Or
to do
is
with
it
all the
at Ollie's?
Starscreams?
I think it might be at Ollie's, right? The Starscream?
I think
I
just
heard
Ross. so far.
someone found
Or Ross?
the Starscream with the chair for at Ross for like $15 somewhere.
Yeah, I got
That's
it
what
for
I
like
want to
18.
find. Oh, I would pay that price for the chair. I don't want Starscream. I just want the chair.
What's funny is that the clearance eBay page for Target has Leader Starscream with the chair, but he's like 35.
I saw that.
And,
It
yeah.
wasn't enough for me. We
No,
don't
and
want
with
the Starscream.
the Target clearance eBay page, you're like, I might just get a box of socks that are used and not an actual toy.
Because with that 4-pack we were talking about earlier, we're already getting a generic Seeker. So if you want multiple Starscream chairs and you're thinking like, I'm going to customize the Starscream into some generic Seeker, you're already getting one of those in the 4-pack. A perhaps blue, perhaps purple character. So
Lavender.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was
Definitely
nice
lavender.
to see that Death Source thing today. Like, it excited me. Just to, a lot of the backer emails that we get are pretty like, here's one image. His
Right.
tank backer email was like one of the most disappointing days. It was just like a little blurb and a little piece of art, and it's like I'd really like to see more at this point. But the Death Source one was cool.
There's
I
been
don't
such a
recall-
focus on G.I. Joe and their new HasLab lately that I completely forgot about Death Source. So when I got the HasLab backer email update, I'm like, oh, what's going on with his tank? I'm like, oh no, Death Source. Yeah, that's a thing.
I know. Okay, so now we have to segue into yesterday's reveal.
No,
I specifically wanted to be on tonight so I could torture you with it, Christian. That was my whole goal.
Yesterday's
So,
leak,
yesterday.
today's reveal.
Yeah, that's true. It was yesterday's link and today's reveal. Today it went up for pre-order. Yesterday it leaked with the images that they used for the pre-order. And that is the third transforming G.I. Joe Transformers collab. For those of us
It's
who
a
have
whole line, Christian.
been in Transformers since the first day, since the toys were first being made,
I'm
Transformers
convinced
have always
these
been
awful things are taking my select spots.
Oh,
I'm
what?
convinced that's what's happening.
Yeah, you convinced yourself of that yesterday.
Yeah, because we're getting 2 selects in 2023.
But we're getting the Velocitron and Toxitron.
Yeah,
Waves.
that's probably where the selects are actually going.
Yeah.
No, we got like
To these
6
Walmart and
selects
Target
last year
issues,
and Velocitron and the Wreckers.
Christian's
We're
like,
getting on
oh,
Amazon
I only
this
get all
year.
these
Really not.
unreleased G2, but they have to get them at Walmart. I can't get them through Selects.
As I was saying before Christian talked over me, that Transformers and G.I. Joe have been a shared universe since the beginning, since G1, since
That
the
doesn't mean they
original
still should be or ever should
show
have been.
and the original comics. So
There's
people have
no, you can't
haunted.
put that back in the box at this point, Luke.
G.I. Joe is poison. It kills anything it touches.
Yes, just like it killed G1 Transformers and itself in the 1980s. And ran
Either
as
of
a
them make it to
successful
the
toy
90s?
line.
No,
They made it to the 90s.
did not make it
That's-
past 1993.
Most toy lines
Yeah,
in the 80s
G.I.
didn't
Joe
make
made
it
it into
past
the
6
90s.
months.
G.I. Joe lasted longer as a property than Transformers did in the U.S.
It
without
did.
having a reboot.
It did. Well, Christian really doesn't like when
I really
G.I. Joe
don't.
gets in his Transformers. For those of us who saw those old crossover figures, you know, like when they did the Ravage that didn't transform with it was with Baroness, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the San
They
Diego
had
Comic
Cosmo
Con
Leash.
set with Jetfire. You had Jetfire painted a G.I. Joe Sky Striker painted like Jetfire. You had a G.I. Joe Vamp painted like Hound. You had Snake Eyes with an Autobot logo. You had a G.I. Joe figure of Bludgeon, which is pretty awesome, and like full samurai gear. And then you had a G.I. Joe figure of Baroness that came with a slug figure of Ravage. He has neck post building in the head, a ball joint in the head, with the chain collar and leash there, the spike collar and the chain leash, to recreate that infamous G.I. Joe Transformers cover. Those were all from that one single box set. And you got a little tiny blaster that could be a G.I. Joe character's backpack with mini cassette tapes.
And they did that, they did in a separate release, they did that Marissa Fairborn G.I. Joe with Afterburner was what they called the bike.
Yeah, they called it Afterburner. And then they also did the Old Snake with the Transformers Prime sound waves painted to be Cobra Bats.
Yeah, that was cool. I like
Yeah.
getting release of Old Snake.
Yeah.
So we got those, kind of collaborative figures that were just done with paint schemes and existing figures. But to finally get transforming G.I. Joe vehicles that have compatibility with small humanoid figures, Human Alliance style, and are fully transforming is really neat. Like, I'm really excited for this, and I'm really hoping that this third one is better than the first two, since the first two were kind of iffy. Oh, and I should mention this third one is the Dreadnought Thunder Machine as Soundwave.
Oh, and Peter did bring up too one that we forgot. Peter talking to us from the great void that he's stuck in now. The Power Glide figure that was repainted to be the Cobra Rattler.
Oh, that was neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a Shockwave.
And that was just kind of out of
tank
nowhere.
The Shockwave tank thing was another SDCC exclusive. And the first SDCC exclusive crossover was a G.I. Joe Sky Striker repainted as Starscream that came with a Cobra Commander.
And that blaster pack you mentioned got repainted as Toaster.
Wait, what?
Blaster's brother Toaster. It was in the very last club exclusive pack they did. They did an MP Rat-Bat in comic colors. They had a clear green G2 Megatron.
Yes.
And they had Toaster. And probably some random humans from Army Guys versus Snake Terrorists.
Yeah, they had a Ninja Force Scarlet, a G.I. Joe, a Cobra villain who was comic book related. I didn't know who she was. Yeah. That little G2 Megatron I liked a lot.
So there's a kind of spotty history of all the times we've had these crossovers. It's just really cool to finally be getting legitimate new Transformers toys made specifically for the purpose of crossing over with G.I. Joe. And I think the timing's good too, since we're getting that shared Energon universe in the comics coming up that's going to have both G.I. Joe and Transformers coexisting.
It's not just in the comics.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
They're
Oh,
going
now
to
that my
integrate
video
it
is
into
working,
the movies, Christian.
It's gonna be everywhere.
I'm
I can
sorry,
show off
buddy.
my poster now that my video is working.
I had such high hopes for the movies.
Gonna be a new cartoon called
Oh.
called Cobra Commander and Starscream's Big Adventure. A new
Anna,
cartoon
what did you
series.
think of Void Rivals? Have you read it yet?
I haven't read it yet. No, I keep forgetting that it's over there. I know it won't take me that long to read. Ooh, look at that,
didn't
fancy!
Yeah.
Look. See, Christian. Energon
Energon
Universe.
Universe.
Yeah.
And I see
Is
G.I. Joe
Jetfire
written
holding
there.
a snake terrorist? Or an
No.
army guy?
No,
A
these
Void
are
Rival.
Void Rivals that he's holding.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Those are the characters from the new property.
Yes.
Will you hate the new property as much as you hate G.I. Joe?
Depends.
It's good. It'll be fun.
G.I. Joe was good exactly one time, and that was when it was a community episode.
Crazy that you can be so wild about one of these big cartoon toy line things from the mid 80s and then so disrespectful of the one that's basically that line's brother, right? Like these two were like
G.I. Joe
Siblings.
Transformers, though, is still not the
read
best G.I. Joe crossover.
I read
Best
the
G.I. Joe
Marvel
crossover
G.I. Joe crossover. It's
is right
bad.
here.
I read the Devil's Due ones back in the day. Bad. I saw the G.I. Joe live action movies. Terrible. Like, there's never been anything good G.I. Joe that I would possibly encounter.
You don't like the fridge?
I don't know what that is other than a appliance.
This is Refrigerator Perry as a mail-in exclusive G.I. Joe figure. He came with a football on a stick, Christian.
Why would he call himself
Football on a
Refrigerator?
stick.
That's a terrible name.
You
That
don't
was his
know
nickname.
about the fridge?
it's a real person.
I'm not from the 80s, guys.
Oh, jeez.
Can you
You'd
even
think
know
you
how
were.
to do the Super Bowl shuffle?
Do you know what that is?
Okay.
All right, so back to the topic at hand is that they did put up for order today. I don't know, it was on Amazon and Pulse for the collaborative G.I. Joe and or G.I. Joe Soundwave, G.I. Joe Transformers, Soundwave, Dreadnought Thunder Machine that comes with not only Zartan and Zorana, but also a blue Ass Ravage for some reason, who, as Phil held up about 6 hours ago when we started talking about it, is the MP mold, right? They're using the MP Ravage mold again, resurrecting it in blue, but with red details.
Which is, Christian pointed out, is not the first time we've had a repaint of a MP in a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. Because here we have the Rat Bat from the Ninja Force G.I. Joe Transformers crossover box set.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I know some things.
Yeah,
All right,
this is
so
it's a fun thing to have, though.
Here's
It looks
my thing.
nicer.
And I've told you this already. I'm going to tell the world this right now. Wait. Wait to buy Thunder Machine Soundwave. Because what did we have the last 2 weeks over on Pulse?
Pulse
Power days.
Pulse Power Days.
Right.
Who was on sale on Pulse Power Days? It's Tank
Many
Megatron
things.
and Dune Buggy, not Beachcomber, Bumblebee.
And there's
Everything.
a really good chance that the Bumblebee and the Megatron will show up on Amazon's Prime Days as well. So if you
Yes.
saw the Thunder Machine and you thought, man, here's one I actually have to have. It's really cool. It looks like it isn't covered in kibble. It looks like it isn't kind of semi-crappy like the first two. I wish I had the first two. You'll probably get a couple more opportunities to buy them on clearance because they did go on clearance everywhere. It's a bummer.
Yes.
Because they're not good. And they
I'm
shouldn't
really-
exist.
Oh, whatever. Stop. I'm really hoping that the Thunder Machine is as good as it looks. Because in the pictures, from everything on it, it looks really nice.
I do find it humorous that quite a few of our friends that aren't part of this cast, but are our friends in the Transformers world and fandom, are like, this is the best one yet. It still looks like crap and I'm not going to buy it.
A lot of people did say that. The
Yeah.
thing I noticed, it stood out really strongly to me, but for the first two, like, and I'm not a vintage G.I. Joe collector, but those toys were like, the new toys were, they were very, very close to the original G.I. Joe toys, right? Like they were so close that like you could almost mistake them. You know, if you put the old toy and the Transformer beside each other on the shelf, you might for a second think, oh, it's just two All Strikers, okay, and then move on. I think the Thunder Machine actually looks different enough that you wouldn't do that. Like there's parts of it that are thicker, there's parts of it that are thinner. Like it looks like they actually took some liberties, and those liberties may be why it looks a little better as a Transformer.
Yeah,
than the first
I agree.
two.
It's a little chonkier than the original Thunder Machine. You know, that's the word the kids use these days, right? Chonky. I like it a lot, but again, you know, part two of my strategy, because my strategy of waiting for clearance is just part one. Part two is you sell Zartan and Zorana, and like, you know, if you buy that thing on clearance and then you sell Zartan and Zorana, you'll have Soundwave for like $25. So you can get a big toy for fairly cheap.
Yeah, those O-Rain original-ish G.I. Joe figures sell pretty well. Although they did admit that for these two, they actually redid their faces to make them more modern.
Yes.
Which is an interesting choice that might not sit as well with the Joe collectors. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there's Joe collectors that will want something that's original, and other Joe collectors will be like, like when they put out this Bumblebee for the Walmart Bumblebee that they did a few years back, the reissue, where he had the face. Like some people would be like, "Oh, well, that's not the Bumblebee face that he came with," and other people are like, "Dude, that's what Bumblebee looked like, so I got to have it now." I'm sure you have Joe collectors that are in both camps.
I bet so.
Yeah, one is in one camp and the other is in the other. Both G.I. Joe collectors.
Yes. But, you know, regardless, is that Joe collectors will probably not mind spending $50 to get Zartan and Zorana and not spend $100 to get Soundwave. So
I agree with Phil on that. Like that is a strategy. And if you wanted 3.5-inch figures to go with your Transformers later, there are more modern looking G.I. Joe figures that tend to actually be cheaper than the old O-Rain ones that will still look good with your new vehicles, and they might actually look a little bit better. Because I actually thought that even with the simplification of Bumblebee and Megatron, that Stalker and Baroness looked kind of bad with them. Because they just, I mean, it looked like a more simplified, kind of cheaper new toy with a very old toy. And it's not that the old toys were bad at all. Like original G.I. Joe figures were revolutionary. They were very, very good humanoid toys at a very nice scale. But the original line was not very detailed.
I mean, it was, but especially in the faces, you can tell where it was softer molds. You know, not as much detail.
Compared to the later Joes, like the 90s Joes were definitely a lot more detailed, and then the 2000s plus Joes are way more modern looking. Not a bad one.
Christian,
but anyway.
What are your thoughts on the evolution of G.I. Joe figures?
Evolutionary dead end.
I was going to make us stop because my whole point of wanting to talk about this was just that it looks nice. The price point is more palatable than the first two, and it comes with a freaking MP Ravage for some reason. So, and he fits in the chest. The Ravage fits in the chest. The Soundwave has a working chest compartment. That gets me excited too. Welcome back, Peter.
Hello.
I've been gushing.
It's Zartan, not Zartan. There was a figure designed in 1983 in conjunction with the Battle Corps line that would have been a G.I. Joe troop carrier that was a Transformer for Generation 2. It didn't see release. You guys missed some SDCC stuff, but that's okay.
Which SDCC stuff did we miss?
doesn't matter. Do your research. We didn't talk about the Joe Con FSS whatever only human singles. What else? What else did we miss? What else did we miss because Destron wasn't around? I don't remember. But let's keep going. I do
We
like
missed
Thunder Machine.
Well,
the Matt
so
Tracker.
I
That's
thought
good.
for some reason that we had a Transformers podcast, but apparently we've actually segued into a G.I. Joe podcast. So
I like
said
watching
that
Christian
half an
get
hour
red.
ago.
I like
It's a
watching
shared
Christian.
universe, Lucas. We have
As-
to do a
as
shared
explained-
podcast now.
As explained last week in the Void Rivals episode, if only you'd shown up for that, Lucas.
I was on that episode. Yes. So okay, can we stop talking about G.I. Joe now? I realize that
it was
yes,
an
okay, we're
exciting
talking
one.
about Transformers and G.I. Joe, but
I
Guy,
just toy.
Gung ho.
Peter, did you get a big box of G.I. Joe toys from someone like a year ago?
I opened it about 3 months ago. 2 months ago? Yeah, I bought it from some dude on that podcast I'm on. I totally forgot the things that were in the box, and I was pleasantly surprised by all the goodies inside.
Yeah. There was a lot of goodies in that box.
A lot of goodies in that box.
And then when I saw you at TFCon, I was just like, here's the little tiny, like minuscule, like knife blade that Storm Shadow comes with.
Yep.
So in today's reveal, we're getting a new nunchucks, a Crimson Viper, and a new mold of Firefly.
Okay, so let it go. I'm afraid our number of watchers might go down if we keep talking about G.I. Joe. So
I
let's.
just
I
love
was gonna say
exasperating
Christian and I may bow out here. I don't know.
Do we have to go back all the way to the reveals from last week? Is that our
I
next
mean-
piece of news, or is there something in the middle I'm missing?
Yeah, since apparently we had our Void Rival show like right before the Peter's just showing up your reflection there, Christian. Of yeah. So anyway, so we haven't discussed the reveals from last week, so
Wait, Peter, is Christian just salty about this because he's actually Outback and he's like going through PTSD because he's Outback, like retired now?
Okay, so last week we had the actual show about Transformers reveals where a lot of things were showed off. They talked about that 4-pack. It's old news. There's a Kiss Player's head. It's awesome. What else are we excited from that
They
show?
talked
last
about
week?
the dying Prowl and Ironhide.
wait, so just out of curiosity, that 4-pack, how genius of it was it of them to put a troop builder in a 4-pack? I'm sure you love that, Peter.
If the Seeker were pretty much any other color, I would love the set. But the fact that it's just Thundercracker pisses me right off.
It's
If
a
it were-
little bit different.
It's just enough different for yeah. No,
When they showed it with the
Can't they
light
make it
actually
purple?
on it, it
but
is.
it should be lavender.
Real light blue. But we've all agreed for 20 years now that the generic Seekers are purple. Except Hot Link, who's just a little bit different purple. But that's fine, because he's weird.
Why doesn't Hot Link have a flamethrower? Why isn't there a flamethrower in this set?
Why is it this
Because
light blue
we
dude who's
needed the
basically
room.
Thundercracker?
We needed the room for Anna's Kiss Player head.
So
That
what
explains it.
if somehow it is more lavender / purple, but it's just not showing up correctly on the pictures because purple is hard to photograph?
Oh,
I
well,
think
then
that's
it's a
that on the show.
genius set.
It's not the right purple. It's
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
not the correct color, else we would see it. But if it is kind of that lighty, purpley, bluey, lavendery, whatever nonsense, then it's fine, because that's actually a dude.
Lilac.
Peter, what percentage of the Transformer fandom do you think, like yourself, immediately knew who the G-Axis minion was when you saw it?
There are 7 people in the world that have read all of the G2 comic, including the Halloween special.
Okay.
I'm 3 of those people.
Yeah, you pushed me out when you said the Halloween special. I didn't read that one.
Guess who bought the Halloween special this year and read it?
Guess who bought it 20 freaking years ago? What's up?
I told you I was looking forever, and then we found one, and I bought it.
Forever is a long time coming, buddy.
Yeah, it was. Actually, you know what? I started collecting my G1 books 22 years ago.
Jeez.
So yeah.
Mr. Flex over here.
That's right.
I wish I'd been doing Transformers for 20 years. That would be awesome.
Oh wait.
Then I'd be like 24.
Yeah, the only difference between me and you guys is that I never quit. And Peter didn't quit. The rest of you.
I was gonna say you better.
I don't
I
think
was
I
not
ever
including you in
really.
that.
I took
Yeah,
a break
Joe
from buying
character.
new things, but I don't think I've ever quit.
Peter, you technically
Okay.
didn't you quit for a second collecting Transformers when you went on your GoBot like
It's related.
You know,
The
Action
children call
Robo.
that it's Machine Robo. The children call
Yeah,
that
that's right.
my annual distraction. I usually pick a thing, chase it down, and
That's
crush it.
true.
It is. It's like, oh, I think I'm going to spend $25,000 on GI Joe this year. I think I'm going to spend $30,000 on Machine Robo. I think I'm going to buy all the Mask toys.
They're like, can you spend $5,000 on a new water heater? We want warmer showers.
You get nothing. You get nothing. I get what I want. I don't have air conditioning in my car. I got robots.
You put the windows down.
The robots will keep you cold.
The robots will keep me cool on my hour 20-minute commute on the freeway. It's good. It's good. The heat index is 110. Everything is gravy.
Are you able to breathe the air outside?
It doesn't matter because I fall asleep while I'm driving, so it's basically time travel the whole way home.
I'm not
Cool.
supposed to breathe the air outside my house right now.
Yeah, that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, it is. 'Cause I have asthma.
That sounds pretty
You-
personal.
The G.I. Joe segues are one thing, but we've gone somewhere completely different now.
Yeah, I don't even know
so
where we started.
What were the other reveals? So we had the 4-pack.
Yeah, so we have a new wave of Legacy. We talked
We
about
had
Shadow Striker, Bombshell, Strong Arm, and
All right,
We're
Anna,
missing
let me
for
ask you
Deluxes.
this. I don't think I've gotten your take on this yet. Legacy Strong Arm, what are your thoughts?
so close. So close. It's like I wish she would have gotten her own mold instead of just being a rehash of the Alita. Because while they did go through and they did make it look like a truck, it is not a truck. It is like a truck. They did not get her proportions really. She's really, really skinny, with just like thingies over her shoulders to make it look like she has some of the like arm build that she's supposed to. And she has a oversized head for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like every individual piece of that toy could go to a good strong arm toy, but all together they make a strange, skinny, big-headed oddball.
So
Its
is Hasbro
proportions are so
legally
screwy.
is Hasbro legally required to like make all the female characters like one mold?
That
Like,
so
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
something
Like they have it's like, oh, here's the 2022, female mold or 2023 female mold, and I have to, we're gonna release like 10 different female characters, but they're all the same mold.
that's what got me about this episode, or I want to call it episode, about this reveal show, is because they revealed Shadow Striker at the same time. Shadow Striker is going to share that whole damn mold with whatever sideburn they make, right? Like there's not going to be a whole lot of retooling to call that thing sideburn. So it's going to be a tooling, a mold that is a woman character and a man character, same mold, different heads. But then they're just stuck in that damn Alita mold, right? Like Strong Arm would be better sharing a mold with one of the guy characters that's a little bigger. I would have at least two people on the internet have produced customs of Strong Arm from the Siege Hound, and that looked right when they made that. Right? Like it looked correct.
Not that one, Peter.
She's got more akin to Ironhide's build than she does to Alita 1.
Yeah, I
And
thought she
they're-
would have been a Hound thing, but we've heard that she's been in the wave with Detritus. That's the fourth one I was forgetting, Peter. So I knew they were going to put two of the same mold in a wave, which
Yeah.
was just weird. Like, use the
She could have had her
Siege
own
version
mold.
of Hound, trot that back out again when we'd get the Earth version of Hound for Detritus and Hound. I don't know.
Who's Iron Fist?
Siege Hound would be fine as well for that.
How many hounds can we do? I mean, we had
14.
three hounds that were hounds, and one hound that hasn't come out yet.
Two
And
hounds that were hounds.
So, did anyone get Hotshot Hound?
Yeah.
You like him?
Yeah.
I need to track that.
Really
down.
good.
It's
Yeah,
a reasonable facsimile of that version of that character.
I think
You gotta
Yeah,
buy
it's a
all
very
the
good
stuff.
choice.
Yeah, do
I
all
did
the
So-
buy
stuff.
all the stuff.
I'm getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because we had a leak list that came out like last night today.
Let's
Let's-
wait. Just
yeah.
It's gonna be
Fine,
5
watch
minutes
it.
on that one.
I have
We'll get to it.
theory that some of
But-
you saw. I don't think Peter saw. I have a theory of when we're going to get Earth Mode Hound.
We'll get to that.
We'll
We
get
will
to
get to
that in
that.
a minute.
Um,
I want to keep completely about strong arm for the next 2 hours.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
strong
sorry,
arms- strong arms
I thought we had
bad.
gone on to Detritus.
No, I'm done completely about her.
I'm a
I
little
am
bit-
not sure I'm gonna get her. I think I
Um,
need to finish that custom that Peter held up the ratchet because I have the head to customize that into strong arm as well. And I need to get a hold of one of those ratchets and just do the custom because I think I'll like that more.
I'll send you one.
Oh,
I'm a
please.
little friendlier to Strong Arm
Doesn't have a gun.
because, like Shadow Striker, as soon as you pose either one of them in the slightest, they look better. Just the straight up and down pics that we get sometimes, or how they do them on the shows, are not good. But then you get pictures from like Mark's Instagram or in-hand samples, and they're posed just doing something, and they look a little bit better. But Phil, 5 months ago we were on a show together, and I said that I could never do your strategy, but I'm going to try it with Strong Arm Shadow Striker.
Thank you.
Mark's
Because
photos
Black
help.
Friday's coming in 4 months. I think they're going to stick around till then.
I'm trying to save you money, man.
I know you are. I said I can never do. I said if I want it, I'm just going to pay the full price and have it because I'd rather have it. But I'm going to try.
The only toys you need to pay full price if you want are figures that are part of a team.
I'm going to expand that into just things that I know I absolutely want to have. If I miss Shadow Striker and Strong Arm, I'm not going to be too terribly sad about it. I would like to have them, but they're not like necessary.
Like the only one from this wave that I say, like at least
gotta
in
get
my
Bombshell.
strategy,
Bombshell.
yeah, Bombshell,
Yeah.
Bombshell,
Yeah.
Bombshell.
No, no.
Yeah.
Where's the gray one?
Right, but what we're saying is that one's the one that's going to sell out.
Yes,
Let it sell out. Wait for the gray one.
I like my toy deco Insecticons a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think they go a bit together better.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
So we had those guys, and then
Did you wear
Voyagers.
that
Who
shirt
were
just to make
Voyagers?
that joke tonight? That's a long term setup. I appreciate that.
Do you think I do anything unplanned?
Trashmaster and Bludgeon.
Did we talk about Shadow Striker, or does that count? Like the 2 words we said about her?
I like
Giant
her.
disappointment.
You said that she was sideburn.
Okay.
That's really all that we
That's
need to
it.
say.
I
She's a
know
sideburn.
she's sideburn, but I'm still gonna get her.
Oh,
still-
okay. I did want to say something about Shadow Striker because they were talking about her and they're like, oh yeah, we wanted to pay homage to the original Shadow Striker who kind of looked like this. And it's like, no, those aren't even remotely the same character. That was a BS justification I've ever heard one. And I know that they're
And-
just doing it to be like, oh, we're trying to come out. No,
And
they're
they
two completely different things.
and they know that most of the people watching the live streams just don't know, and they'll just repeat the thing that they were told last. Like, oh, they're homaging a thing from BotCon from a long
No,
time ago.
They're not.
They said they were, and that means they are. Because I know Transformers because I watch live stream from Hasbro.
Peter, I hope your video feed just like freezes right now and it's just you doing the thumbs up in the video feed for like the next 20, 30 minutes that we're still live.
No, I think you're right though. I think for a lot of the people even working on the toys, it's probably actually all they know about it too. They're just like, oh, there was a version. It shared the mold with Sideburn, so we can just mix them together. But gosh, that I usually don't care about getting things exactly correct, but my problem with this one is that Legacy is it's a little random between either giving you fully just updated versions of figures that needed an update, or these combined, like we're combining every version of the character, we're combining 6 different RCs into amalgam RC, like the bulkhead we got. That's very much an amalgam bulkhead that's mixed together all the different bulkheads, right? But to do it to a character that never got a good toy and was an important character in a recent cartoon series, right? Cyberverse is not old yet, and Shadow Striker was important. She was a new character. She was interesting. She reoccurred throughout the series, all the way up till the very end of it. And here you go. Here's a toy of her. It's just her head on a different toy's body. Such a
As I understand
bummer.
it, she does the Junkion gimmick too. Like, this is a line with Junkions that separate and you can combine it back together. She's a character that does that.
Wait, what?
Doesn't she do that in the show? That's what I thought. Anna told me that.
Oh no, she doesn't really come apart. She got blown apart and put back together out of crappy parts.
Oh well, I mean,
Yeah,
still it looks like Junkion things.
She kind of get Frankenstein once.
I thought it was a constant thing. My bad.
Yeah, no. Shadow Striker is the constant Frankenstein Transformer toy, of
Gotcha.
which this version doesn't do that, which is
No.
kind of sad.
So the alt mode is Scram.
Yeah.
Even with what they did, right? Just making this like it has the Cyberverse head, but then it has the universe body or whatever, the Collectors Club. If they would have just done like a half and half color scheme, like on the car,
The
if
car's
they would
wrong
have
too.
though.
The car
The car is Scram.
The car is
Yeah.
nothing.
alt mode is just wrong. Everything about this and everything that they've tried to use as a callback is wrong. And
Yeah.
but someone
the
mentioned
head is
Shadow
good.
Striker from it.
the head is good. The head is good. Someone mentioned
Okay.
legality. Is Hasbro required by law to XYZ about female figures? But I think Hasbro is required by law to make us buy 2 or 3 versions of the figure before we get one that's passable. And this is first run, so we'll get 2 or 3 more Shadow Strikers, or whoever. I mean, we need more Minervas. We need more Elita 1s, frankly.
Yeah.
And with Transformers 1 coming in a couple of years, then we'll get about 15 Elita 1s, and most of them will be about 30% okay.
I mean, I don't know
Peter,
what you
I
guys are
think what
talking about. That Elita 1 Minerva mold is the pinnacle of Elita 1s and Minervas. Like, that is, there's nothing that could be better. It's just perfect as is.
It's a
It's a good
good
In
toy.
my
look.
opinion of your intelligence just dropped significantly. With
I
this
think having asthma and smog is better than that Elita 1 mold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll agree to that.
I actually
I
like
think
the
it's-
mold.
It's a
Around
fine toy.
5K out there.
I think it's a good enough mold. I just don't think like I just hated that that's what Minerva got, because it's a very clear version of a character named Minerva from a comic that ran for 4, 5 issues. How long was Shreds and Circuits? Was it 4 or 5?
Too many issues.
It was a short run at the end of the last IDW, and it happened. Ended
One
in
issue
the
was too
version of
many.
Minerva, and that's what got the toy instead of the major character from Master Force, which is a bummer.
You know, I'm really disappointed. I wish they
Like,
would have rebooted IDW, but that didn't happen. So we only got the initial IDW universe, right?
Well, I mean, they
Oh,
did
gosh.
retooled for Robots in Disguise and More Than Meets the Eye. So that's like 2. But then they never did anything after that. So sad.
No. It's just too bad.
Oh, my eyes.
Come on, Anna. Treads and Circuits was awful. You were with me. We'd read it
Shreds and
together.
Circuits was, I mean, the first couple issues were interesting and promising, and then it really went downhill. Really, it just like flew off. It was bad at the
So
end.
you're saying the whole story in itself was garbage. The beginning
Gave
you
the
false
last
hope.
issue made all of the other issues pointless.
It may we talked about this when we talked about the comic originally, but if it would have been part of a continuing series, like if that universe was going on for another few years and it was going to get a sequel, it would have been workable, right? Like if a part 2 was coming in a few months down the line to show what happens next, it would have been at least better. But ending it the way they did, knowing that the universe was ending, just it left threads that weren't even that interesting, mostly threads that were annoying. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Next, talk about Trashmaster and Bludgeon, the Voyagers from the next wave.
Bludgeon
As
actually
much as-
surprised me. I didn't expect Bludgeon to look cool. The Bludgeon
He looks great.
cool.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Bludgeon? Peter, tell us.
It's
He's
just hard.
a lazy Tarn. Tarn wasn't great, and Bludgeon is the lazy Reed Echo with a new head. He misses every mark that I have in my head for a Bludgeon. I despise the mold. I despise the use of the mold as Bludgeon. I'm not gonna apologize. I'm not buying that thing. I think I'm passing on most of this stuff.
I didn't know you
I
didn't
was-
like the Tarn. What bummed
Anna,
you out
go
about
ahead.
the Tarn, Peter?
Well, I bought the MMC one first, so
Oh, okay.
he's
Yeah.
flat. Phil's holding up his hands, like showing that he's like very flat. My kid doesn't have him because he got the MMC Tarn for
Yeah,
Christmas.
the MNC and the Iron Factory are both closer
Yeah,
to what
so-
Tarn
yeah,
actually
it's
looks like.
and Lucas is holding it up, and it's the width of a finger, which is pretty rough.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think overall, like, if you'd never gotten the MMC one, right? I think you'd be happy, like, with this one. I like the deco looks cool, but yeah, like, it's frustrating because it's, here it is.
And it's
Yeah.
not.
I display my figures from the side, so I guess that's really how I see it most often.
That's a choice. That's a personal choice, and I wish you well. And I wish you well following the future adventures of G.I. Joe in the Transformers books.
Just like
That was
why
involuntary.
couldn't this be this size?
Right?
Like this figure this size.
He's holding up
It-
G-Axis, and G-Axis is
yes.
awesome.
Jax is
Jax
really
is
good.
so
And he's
good.
like $19 on Amazon now for no
Mhm.
reason. Go buy him if you don't. Just
Go
get
buy him. He's gorgeous. He's
Yeah.
gorgeous,
I
and he's
do.
fun.
And then find a way to read his comic books because
Is there
they're
any-
kind of difficult to read now.
Is there anything about G-Axis, like a remold of that G-Axis toy? Have we seen anything?
Probably.
Okay.
And it probably will be, yeah. Not
Yeah.
yet.
I was talking to someone. We were speculating on what he could be retooled as, and I don't remember what we talked about. So
And they'd have
he-
to do some
he-
other stuff to him.
if you paint him black, it could look like the Cobra Stellar Stiletto, and the one with the was which Viper is it? Not the Astro Viper.
Stratos Viper?
No, Strato Viper came with the Night Raven. The Stellar Stiletto, it was red and black, and it came with it was an all black Viper with a space helmet with like gold cross on his chest, like gold X. But anyway, they could redeco him as that. They could
No.
You've never been my hero as much as tonight, Peter. Thank you.
So, what other retools could we get into G.I. Joe vehicles?
Star Viper.
Star Viper. Thank you. Like he had like a whole little story arc at the beginning of the Cobra Civil War in the early '70s. It was wonderful. Yeah, that guy.
So yeah, the bludgeon, like I honestly think in a vacuum that bludgeon out of Tarn is kind of a neat looking figure. Like if you weren't looking for something that looked exactly like bludgeon, and if you weren't comparing it to an MMC Tarn, I think in a vacuum it could be a fun to play with toy. It's a little skinny guy who's fun colors with a skull face. So
In a
I
vacuum,
might still get it just
yeah.
for the hell of it, but
Is there a bludgeon? Has anyone done bludgeon right though?
Super Seven's come closest, but he's not a pretender, so he sucks and he's not worth buying.
Rid 15 Bludgeon is pretty good.
For a small Hollow Deluxe, yeah, he's okay, I guess.
Chris San
He
Diego
looks the part.
Comic-Con, Samurai G.I. Joe toy Bludgeon.
No.
That one's pretty close.
So
Revenge of the Fallen Bludgeon.
It's cool.
I have,
Yeah.
I have Revenge of the
really
Fallen
neat.
with the kit. I got the kit to upgrade his face and all that stuff. His
I did
joints
that. I
are not,
did that.
his joints are not great. He's not posable. He's got a lot of clunk to
Yeah.
him, but he's 12 years old now at this
He's
point.
14 years old.
yeah,
14
some
years
cool
old.
action features too.
Oh,
math
yeah.
works.
Revenge of the Fallen.
He's a
I went
forgotten.
with Revenge of the Fallen Bonsaitron. I just enjoyed that a little bit better.
I have that one too. I don't think
I
I
sold
opened
it.
that one. I have the bludgeon in this room here somewhere. I just haven't unpacked him.
The
They're both
Megatron and Overlord that they did of that mold, though.
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, Megatron was okay. Overlord, though.
Well, you're wrong.
All right, who was the other Voyager? I already
Oh,
forgot.
Trash Master.
Wait,
Trash
Trash
Master.
Master.
Hold on. When it comes to Bludgeon, do you guys remember Super Megatron? That was
Yeah.
the Generations, Takara. Like that was based
You
on
mean
a
a
Galvatron
Dream
mold.
Come True? Yeah,
Yes.
Dream Come True. Yeah.
That was based on a Galvatron mold that really stunk. And yet we got a really good toy out of that mold. I'm not saying Bludgeon is on the level of that, but Peter, I was right on board with you for disliking that Tarn toy so much. But something about the Bludgeon just I don't know, it's just hitting the right marks for me. I like Milne. I like Milne design stuff. This is very, very much feeling like Milne. I feel like Bludgeon is a character that should be a little more lithe because he's got to do all the, Energon Jitsu stuff. I'm feeling a little bit more better about Bludgeon than I am about Tarn.
The product images did it a lot of good. They took really good product images of it posing.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love the bludgeon colors, so I think it'd be fun to get it, if anything else.
I think that helps a lot too. I will say there's a couple Cyberverse Bludgeon toys that are really, really good. They don't pose well, but they look good. What do you hold?
I hate that Bludgeon so much that I'm gonna get the stupid Super 7 one, but I'm gonna get a Legends, like a Silver Samurai figure or something, and I'm gonna hollow out the back and I'm gonna modify this stupid Megatron from the Evergreen line because it has a transformation that's a tank that's kind of like Bludgeon, and you can use the tank turret that comes with the Super 7 Bludgeon. I'm just gonna cram this thing in the back of a Silver Samurai figure from Legends and put Super 7 Bludgeon armor bits over it after I chop everything up, and then I will have my Bludgeon, and then Hasbro will make theirs that doesn't suck. This is where I'm at. I have to make a shitty custom so that Hasbro will do something that I want, because this is all a dream and they are in my head and they only do things once I'm thoroughly disappointed.
I like this divination-based way of manipulating Hasbro. I'm all for it. Christian does it too. So, good job, everyone.
Mine's not customs. Mine's just will.
Yes.
All right, new Junkion.
Yeah.
Trash Master.
Trash Master.
So, blue and white redeco as a certain character from a certain movie. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, Mirage. Yeah.
Oh, Mirage.
Yeah.
It took me a second.
I was trying to decide if that was a spoiler or not, but it's not. It's 4 seconds of a
was like-
scene.
Whatever.
Movie Junkie got redecoed as that in Japan one time.
That'd be really fun. Just
Trash Master. He looks like a really big brawler dude with a hook for a hand or a mace for a hand. He's got
That looks
something for
cool.
his hand.
How did a claw hand?
Claw hand.
Yeah.
He's
He
a
turns into
clear,
like a dumpster truck, which is cool.
clear pre-tool of animated wrec car.
yeah,
I don't know if it's that
definitely.
I
clear.
agree with that.
Pretty.
I think it's clear. It's the same shape.
It's the exact same shape and pretty much the same transformation. It's about as clear as coming to reality. The G.I. Joe is going to be with you for the rest of your days as part of your Transformers lore. It's that clear, and I'm excited for both Trash Master and the Energon universe, and seeing that look on Christian's face.
You guys say G.I. Joe one more time, I'm hanging up.
Oh, I like Trash Master. I still haven't bought any of the new Junkions. Like, I don't know. Something about them just didn't grab me. Right? Like, I'm always saying I want new characters. and then they make new characters, and I didn't get them. But I
Yeah,
bought the crap
these are
out of
like
the
the funnest
fossilizers,
ones.
right? I have all the fossilizers, and they're my friends. Like, I like them so much. They have one of my best shelves. It was mostly fossilizers, but I just can't get into the Junkions as much. I don't know.
Scraphook and Crash Bar are really nice.
They
toys.
both
They're
look
fun.
like they're very good,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
I'm
I'm
so
definitely
excited for
going
Axel
to get.
Grease.
I'm going to get
Yeah.
Axel Grease.
I
It
think she
combines
might
two
have
things I
shipped
like.
today.
Where's Nancy?
Yeah. My
Dude, I
beach
want
bum
Nancy
is
so
good.
badly.
Where's Nancy? If we get a Nancy, then we can redeco it as a regular Lithonian. It'll be fine.
What would they even call her? Nothing, probably, is what they would call her.
No, you could do like if you like scan the QR code, you find out her real name's Nancy.
They do just a multi-pack of Junkions, and she's there. Just like it's the Junkion party dance scene or whatever. Just like
What
a
if-
bunch of Junkions, and she's there.
I think they
What
called her
if-
Junkion Lady in issue 43.
Was she
Wait,
somewhere?
What if Axel
Yeah.
Grease is Nancy, but she got
The
divorced
evil.
from Rekgar?
Her head is not the least Nancy thing I've ever seen.
They said it was supposed to be an homage. They said her head on the show where they revealed her. They said her head was a Nancy homage.
They
You
said,
can tell it was in the mix.
yeah, they've lied about their homages. We've talked about it on this episode tonight.
I think a lot of Crash Bar's pieces look similar to Rum Madge, though. So, I mean, if they want to do a Junkion multi-pack at the end, it's like Rum Madge and Nancy and
But
Scrapyard.
this is another thing with my point, right? The point I was making earlier about sometimes Hasbro tells me that they can switch the gender on a figure with a repaint when appropriate to make it neat and interesting. And then sometimes they make everyone out of freaking Moonracer for 6 years of Moonracers that are all bad. Except for Moonracer,
except
who
for
was interesting
Moonracer.
because she was
Yeah.
new. Yeah, like that just drives me
Make
wild.
the better Moonracer from the show. The one thing I wanted from that show, and they didn't make it.
Has there been an instance where they have made a toy of a female Transformer that they then use that mold for a male Transformer later on down the road?
Potentially this laser cycle.
Shadow Striker would probably be
Yeah.
before that. Let's see.
But that's flipped because she was Sideburn before. The original
Right.
Yeah,
Shadow
but
Striker.
her new toy is her.
Oh, you mean yeah.
Yeah.
So laser cycle would be the one because laser cycle was laser cycle jazz. Now they took the jazz off and they might call it a she on the packaging. But technically,
So
Okay,
Ron asked
you want to
an
exclude
interesting-
BotBots from that?
Ron asked an interesting question. He said, "Why didn't Detritus get a mercenary logo? The backstory they mentioned on the stream made more sense to be mercenary than both factions." And that is interesting because they kind of like introduced that mercenary faction symbol, and they haven't really used it, since
true.
that kind of initial
It was for
run.
that card game, and now that's
And,
dead, so they don't need to use it
he was a
anymore.
mercenary in the card game too. So, I don't know.
Is that the same as what was the pirate guy from Prime?
Thundertron. No, he's good.
Thundertron.
He's
Those
the
Star
Star Seekers,
Yeah,
Okay.
which also was not a thing. They tried to make that a thing, not a thing.
they tried that in a couple different avenues and just
That's
let
so
it go.
fetch.
Ron
Fetch.
also brings
Come on,
up
Gen
Alita
Z. I don't know
1
your
was
language.
redone into Starscream.
Cindersaur was
Oh,
made
yeah.
out of
Starscream was
what's her name?
Starscream was
Other way
first.
around.
Starscream was first.
Starscream was
Yeah.
first.
But
It's all drawn-
Cindersaur. Cindersaur was
Oh,
made
that's
out
right.
of what's her name? Slash.
Cindersaur.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes, thank you. Slash.
Slash first.
Yeah.
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 I Slash first and Cindersaur.
I could
Thank
go
you.
for more slashes.
I could.
Me
as well.
too.
Love slashes.
It's a good toy.
Last figure that got revealed was Dreadwing, a Prime Dreadwing from Skyquake, naturally. New canon, or different end of the canon. He looked good.
I just
Very
opened my
cool.
Skyquake yesterday. I like that toy. I think the Dreadwing colors are pop a little bit more.
Yep.
But I already got my Prime Dreadwing, so I was happy to get my Legacy Skyquake. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool toy. I like the flamethrower that he's got.
We really
I'm
need
still
to
waiting
get,
for even brighter colors.
We really need to get the G1.5 Skyquake.
Yep,
Give me that
that'll happen.
Skyquake, and
Machine Wars.
then give me Machine Wars.
And Peter,
Yeah.
would you also please will into existence King Atlas?
King
he can be
Atlas?
last.
Yeah,
I will just like him as
I'll take
well.
Yeah.
He was important to Christian as a kid.
Okay.
He's not the most important from that mold, but he's important to me.
I feel like
Make
they're
it
starting
so.
with the most boring colors and getting more interesting as they use that mold more.
It's a really fun mold.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed his Skyquake. I'm excited to buy it like 3 or 4 more times, which is weird to say for a $55 liter. Just like, oh, keep giving it to me, but like, it's really nice. It's a fun toy.
We didn't talk that much about Detritus here, or Detritus. Is he a Junkion?
Yes,
Okay.
Mm.
Does he?
but not a toy Junkion. He's
Okay.
of the race and of the planet.
But they showed the combined mode of what the Junkion toys are going to combine into, and Detritus was part of that.
Yeah.
Was he? I didn't notice the
His
Saurus
color
thing.
sure was.
The Junkosaurus, or whatever his name is.
I didn't notice that Detritus was part of that.
Detritus is in there. Yeah.
Where?
On the
I think he's like a
arms.
thigh.
All right.
He's somewhere.
I mean,
in the
he's
core.
got 5mm ports, I'm sure, just like most
Yeah.
other toys. So that's probably.
Yeah, I think they just kind of folded him up into a body
But
part.
yeah,
shape,
he's
stuck him on there.
Okay.
his story is that he's a Junkion dude.
Okay. So can I tell my theory around when we're going to see?
Yes, please go.
Earth mode Hound. A theory I have, and if I'm wrong, like whatever, come find where I live and scold me to my face. I think we'll get a box set of some point, a Studio Series box set that will be the moment when Prime lands on Earth at Autobot City in Transformers the movie, and he's like walked down from the shuttle's ramp, and Hound and Sunstreaker are in the background.
The No Matter the Cost box set.
Exactly. And then we'll get like ideally in my mind, we will get a Optimus Prime truck grill that has Thrust's face on it. Because those moments are like back to back in that movie.
I want to say I wouldn't buy that because that would be really lame, but it wouldn't. It'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
I will say that Hound is slated for a buzzworthy single pack. He's in like a wave with Dark to the Moon Hatchet.
Okay. Because we did also see some leak lists that had a Studio Series 86 Sunstreaker on there.
Mm-hmm. As long as the yellows match, I'm gonna be happy with that.
Earthrise Sunstreaker, not bad, just doesn't do it for me.
You'd see that.
Well, he also wasn't that widely available, too. I think that if you missed out on that initial wave, wasn't he kind of hard to come by?
Yeah.
He was a victim of COVID.
Trailbreaker.
Yeah.
It would be good to get those out there again, I think.
Yeah.
And that releases yellows do match better in person than they do in photographs. They just do.
No, they don't. They're not close enough. It made me want to smash it. But I'm on the verge of smashing everything around me at all times anyway. So
Smashy.
Too. I made one into Shatterglass Goldbug because the Shatterglass Goldbug they gave us was not right.
it was absolutely wrong, and you did the right thing.
I did. I know you don't like Shatterglass, so I appreciate you saying that.
What you did was a good thing.
So
has anyone here gotten DevCon or Beachcomber or any of that wave yet?
I think mine
Sounds
shipped
familiar.
today.
Okay.
People are getting them in hand. I didn't pre-order them. I don't pre-order
Yeah.
anything.
They're
We didn't talk about Antigone or Volvo.
Antagony.
Sorry.
That's a wonderful play from Ancient Greece.
Yes.
High schoolers should study it.
We didn't talk
And
about
tagging.
football Optimus Prime.
No.
No, we didn't talk about
jeez.
that.
Oh yeah, and the
That's a weird
fridge.
thing.
Refrigerator Perry. He was a dude on the 1985 Super Bowl winning Chicago Bears, and then he was made a member of G.I. Joe in 1987. And oh no shit.
Oh wow. Thanks, Peter.
And then yep.
So I think Hasbro is trying to do their best to get Nick to stop collecting everything, wouldn't you say?
They're really trying. They're really trying.
I mean, because those football players, isn't it like a whole line of them?
There's gonna be
that
5
they-
of them.
Oh my god.
They've shown off 5, so you're talking $2,000. If you're if you're in it, you are in it.
And those
They are
things,
hideous.
yeah, they're awful looking. It's like the Robosun things. It's a novelty for people who don't collect Transformers.
I don't know that I would go that far to say, like, I would take those Roboson, like, really, I wouldn't mind getting the Roboson figures, like, if they were significantly cheaper. Like, these football things, like, there is no way in hell I don't see why you would get them.
They're actually ugly. That's the problem with them.
What's
Things
funny
you
is that
sell shouldn't be unappealing.
the Prime does remind me of a toy that does exist in very few numbers, and that is the Dairy Con exclusive Pretender Peter Cullen. So this is a thing. It exists again in small numbers. It's from very early in the era of Dairy Con, but if you want to go look it up, it's an impressive Pretender toy of Peter Cullen. Got a cowboy hat, got the mustache, and if you swap out the cowboy hat for an Optimus Prime football helmet, the football player Optimus Prime will look like that.
Remold potential right there.
Sure.
Dairy Con some of the Dairy Con customs are better than some of the production stuff we've gotten.
So, what is this
No lie.
$100,000 watch, Peter?
There's a watch. It's $105,000, and it was revealed last week sometime too. It's absurd.
There's only gonna be 10 of it. It's not
Yeah.
good for
Like,
real
is it
people.
crusted in diamonds or something, or what? Is it Rolex?
No, it's not a Rolex, but it's one of those, like, the machinery is so fucking precise that you can set a watch by it, I guess.
But
I don't know. There's
why
a
would
fancy
you buy-
because you care more about showing off how much money I spent swag. Ooh, look how fucking rich I am, than you care about the brand. You care more about showing off how much money you have than you care about Transformers, the storytelling, the toys, the characters, or the lore.
Okay.
You just want to show off. All it is a show off piece.
Yeah.
It is
people
a
like
show-off
that-
piece.
People like that are the wrong type of collectors in my book, and I don't want anything to do with them. Now let me tell you about how much money I spent on G.I. Joe this week.
Uh-oh.
What if we instead talk about
Christian.
Javelin and Cascade?
No! Oh my goodness. Thanks.
It's a
Peter.
running gag now. Me and Christian quit the episode several times.
Javelin,
Christian
Cascade,
only
Skywarp.
wishes you could have another PC update, Peter.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh man, where's that leak list? I'm trying to find the leak list. I apologize.
Yeah,
that
we need Christian for the leak list because
There
there
he
he is.
is.
Christian,
Leak
hey,
list.
leak list. Do you have a leak list?
It's one we went over about 3 months ago. There's nothing new on it.
Oh,
We're an
Okay.
hour and a half in, too.
So the oddball ones that came out, was it yesterday or today, was the Amazon Javelin and Cascade from the IDW universe.
Oh, yeah, that.
Everyone's favorite characters, Javelin and Cascade.
who's
Where's
I
Cascade?
don't
Riptide?
remember them.
Where's Flame?
Where's Nautica?
Where's Zaron?
Where's
Where-
Turmoil?
At
Where's
least-
what's
at
his
least-
name? Is
at least-
11?
Drift?
At least with Turmoil, we got an MMC version. At least with Drift, we got an MMC version. We got other versions, if you're into third-party stuff. We don't have a Flame
Still.
figure. We don't have a good Zaron. We don't have, Nautica or Riptide or where are the
Zaron would be
Riptide,
great.
yeah.
God,
Why are we getting Cascade and Javelin?
Because Mark likes the mill design for Javelin.
And that's great.
That's great.
Come on, Mark.
Cascade's
Okay,
no
Javelin.
one.
All right, sure, whatever. But Cascade, who's Cascade? I still don't understand.
No one knows.
The character from the comics you guys didn't read.
But I
Why
did
would you
read them.
reference some.
I did read them. They
A
weren't
character
just
from the comics some people didn't read. And no, they weren't a big character.
Woo.
I had to go back and find them. To be like, oh, they had this like dynamic. They didn't have a dynamic.
But like Nautica is heavily featured in IDW, like in the older run, right?
she's
Why-
Didn't
pivotal.
you make the argument that she got a toy though?
Oh my god, that's a piece of shit.
The toy is
Oh, wait.
trash, but
You caused
don't
me.
get
But
me
we-
wrong.
We tooled new head and we tooled new venti things for your blur. We did the tooling for you guys, for fans, by fans. And we put it in a lovely box set that no one was able to get because the scalpers ate it all up at Toys R Us. You're welcome.
What's this Toys R Us you speak of?
I know, it's
Yeah,
been a
that
long time.
happened.
Yeah, her. She's Lilac.
I kind of think this is going to sound crazy.
And the head
But-
doesn't even look like her that much.
No,
What if
the
the-
head doesn't look like her at all.
What if the tidal wave set that everyone wants is a combiner? And because the Armada toy is 3 different boats, so then
Right.
it could be like Nautica, Riptide, and somebody.
Boater!
Deep dive.
Masterpiece
Okay.
Boater is
And,
part of the
They release it separately to those
Oh.
guys, and you can combine them into whoever.
Hasbro
That's crazy
would
thing.
do that to us to spite us, but I don't know. I'd still probably buy it.
No, they would release the whole thing as tidal wave, and then individually as those other people. You can also combine them.
Oh, so you're saying that they would be a repaint of Tidal Wave, basically, is
Correct.
what you're saying. Okay.
Tidal wave would come as 1 box, and then the repaint would be 3 boxes.
Okay. I'd be all right with that.
No, because then we'd end up with the same problem that we did with the Nautica that I was just showing. That we're gonna have a Nautica toy that like kind of
True.
looks like Nautica if you squint.
I don't know. I'm
They're
working
gonna
on
put her
stuff.
on the Alita 1 body and say it's a hovercraft.
It's not a naughty
Yeah.
Nautica. Not a naughty Nautica. You guys.
What kind of OnlyFans page are you subscribing to?
No, what? No, because Naughty Nautica. You clearly didn't read the comics either. Everyone's fired. Everyone's fired.
Dude, that's been like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it has. And I mentioned it in the chat, but I don't think anyone said it out loud. But yeah, the Gen 2 comic, you got to know about the Gen 2 comic and where it came from, and because it didn't start in the Gen 2 pages itself. It started somewhere else.
Don't say it.
So I don't know if anyone knows. I don't know. It's a mystery.
Don't.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
I liked.
Wait,
Volvo
where did
Prime.
it start at? I don't understand what reference.
Don't do this. Don't do it.
They did change the title for a 4-issue series. Everything was polybagged with cards. It was called Snake Eyes. And in the finale of the Snake Eyes sub-branding, Megatron showed up and made a deal with Cobra Commander to get a new body using the railgun built by Dr. BJ, Dr. Biggles Jones, who was in that Ninja Force set with Masterpiece Rat-Bat. And they used the
This is
railgun.
not in the spirit of what I'm doing here. Stop talking about them.
They used the railgun and Dr. BJ's designs, along with some Dr. Mindbender stuff, to rebuild Megatron. And why haven't we gotten a good Gen 2 Megatron? Because I've been seeing that little green guy in stores. Yeah, there we go. There, that's one of my favorite songs. All right,
Okay, so
had
any
our
other,
mind.
what other leaks did we have? Anything else of note? I think there's some movie figures or something that leaked that we don't care about.
There were movie figures, yeah. There was a Mirage they showed that was actually a lot better than the renders we got of it before.
And they said they were going to do some more work on the head.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're trying to make the Mirage better than it was, which is nice. Like, Mirage ended up being, a standout character from the film, so he needs at least one decent toy.
I think you and I are going to end up with the Yellow Park ones, Anna.
If Yellow Park does a Mirage, that will probably be what I end up with. Yeah.
I mean, they gotta, you think? I mean,
they will, I figure.
Well, my son made me promise I'd talk to you guys about this. He had a theory about Mirage.
Okay.
That he becomes a Junkion, that he's the first Junkion after he gets rebuilt, because he's like Junkion colors.
That's a giant spoiler.
Yeah.
It's a good theory.
Yeah. I don't know.
86 Springer also was a thing on that list.
Oh, was it?
Which, if they redo that Siege mold, fantastic, because that Siege mold's not good. I just have it because it fits with all the other dudes, but it's not good.
When you say redo it, what do you mean, like brand new from start to finish?
Brand new start to finish mold.
Okay.
How do
when
you
I
know
hear
that?
redo a mold, I feel like you're talking about a remold.
Sorry, yes, that could be confusing. No, whole new Springer, please. But
How do
I feel
we
like
know
the
that
triple
it's actually
changes
going
have
to be
been...
a redo, though?
What?
How do we know that it's going to be a full redo? How do we know it's not
don't.
going to
It's just in
be
the
a
new size
Voyager
class.
figure with a trailer?
I think the triple changers in leader class so far have done very well. It allows them enough parts to do the things. Astro Train still needed one or two more parts. I get it, but Blitzwing I thought was very successful.
Blitzwing's the best.
It's very blitzwingy.
Yeah.
We've seen Sandstorm on a list as well for Legacy University next year.
Legacy University, is that really the next thing?
All of the listings say Legacy Uni, and everyone's saying it's Universe 3 or it's United or whatever. I think everyone's going to college next year. Legacy University.
Yeah.
I really like that theory so much.
CSU, Cybertron State University.
It's going to sneak in some Legacy BotBots Academy figures. Or BotBots, Rescue Bots.
Bots can go to
BotBots
college too.
Academy would make Christian very happy.
It would.
I didn't
That's where we
realize
can have
until
that.
recently that Sludge and Snarl became part of Rescue Bots Academy.
Good for them.
Yeah. I don't think they ever had robot modes, but Sludge and Snarl, joined the Rescue Bots at one point.
School would be good for them. It would help with that horrible thing that was done to them.
It
I
would.
think it's a different continuity.
Yeah, well, you know what? That continuity. That was one of those things I went back to as an adult and said, oh no, why did I like this as a kid? I loved the Dinobots as a kid. And then I watched that episode as an adult and I was like, wow, they built new life but gave them limited intelligence. How evil is that?
I like Volvo Prime. I'm going to try Phil strategy on that one too.
What's Phil's
yeah.
strategy? Tell me.
He waits for a sale or waits for
Phil Stratton's
clearance.
just waiting for a sell.
Okay.
I don't
Did I ever
normally do
tell you
that.
Did I ever tell you my theory on the Dinobots? The Gen 1 continuity Dinobots?
I'd love to see it. I'd love
I'm
to hear it.
worried
Not
about what
see
this
it.
is going to be.
All right, so they built the Dinobots. They built 3 Dinobots. They were dumb. They built 2 more Dinobots. They were dumb. In season 2, they were big brawlers. They're like berserkers, but they're dumb. And then starting with the movie, suddenly they're comic relief and they're still dumb, but they're not like berserkery. We're here to bail you out again, Optimus Prime and Autobots who are so dumb and weak and lame and whatever. Yeah, because Grimlock would talk trash. Somewhere between season 2 and season 3, the Autobots went back to Cybertron and threw them at Vector Sigma and said, hey, new life, these suckers, using the parts we have. And their brains are just not that good. And so they're alive now. They're for really real with sparks and stuff, but they're still super dumb. And they don't have the programmed brutishness that Wheeljack and Ratchet gave them. Now they're just lame, which is why they were lame in season 3.
My counterpoint to that would be once they get to Cybertron, they find a little bit of sense of peace and belonging and can just hang out in the Cybertronian lakes and eat robot fish.
But they didn't hang out in the Cybertronian lakes. They hung out on the moon bases in an arms factory building things for Optimus Prime. That's what they
then
were
they
doing.
started
That's what they were
hanging
doing at
out
the beginning of the movie.
But then they were hanging out in the Cybertronian lakes in Grimlock's new brain.
Yes, they were.
Right. And at
Grimlock
that
always
point-
loved to fish with Dinobots, is the line from Snarl. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's the point where they found a sense of peace and kind of were able to give up some of their anger.
But that was like their final appearance too in the Gen 1.
Was that or was Call of the Primitives their final appearance?
Call of the Premise was not.
Okay.
It was Grimlock's new brain.
Okay. Mistake.
As far as our data is concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Reach
they did
us
show
up.
up. They show up in Headmasters, but only Slag and Grimlock show up in Headmasters, and they're still just like super derpy and not effective, and the Headmasters take them out quick.
Which you'd think, like, you put those against the monster cons and you'd have a pretty good battle.
The monster bots
Monster dudes.
are the bots, yeah.
Yeah.
Are the replacements for the Dinobots. They're the bruisers. They come in. They handle the missions the Dinobots won't. That's what they're there for, function wise.
That's why they hang out in Maximum Dinobots.
Yep.
Ape Face and Snapdragon. What are those two? What is their
Horror
Cons.
cons.
Horror cons.
The
Thank you. I apologize.
Headmaster horror cons. Yeah.
Headmaster Horror Cons. Okay. The RID 2000 Headmaster Horror Cons Universe Legacy Ape Face.
Well, there were horror cons in 2004, but they didn't make it to release. Now we've gotten 3 of them.
We have most of them now. 2 of them at least. We got Night Booper and
Waspinator.
Yeah. We're waiting on
Sky Wasp.
Skywasp. We're waiting on Black Arachnia.
Yeah, and then Leatherhide won't exist.
No. Unless we get mutants.
Somehow they do mutants.
Yeah.
I would have said no way, last year, but now we've got Laser Cycle Jazz, so who knows?
Right.
Make any
That's what we
super
recently
cycle,
saw.
it could be Leatherhide. It doesn't have to be mutants. It could just be Crocodile.
Can I get a good version of both Beast Wars and Beast Machine Silverbolt before we give us good mutants?
Silverbolt is on a Voyager class listing for next year. So probably. I'm gonna go with probably.
Wait, is Silverbolt
Recently, my
Silverbolt's a retool of Silverbolt, yes.
yeah, totally.
It's coming full circle.
Just gonna give him a dog head. It'll be the same toy otherwise.
Yeah.
Got it.
They'll paint some feathers on his wings.
Jet with a dog head.
All right, so we went almost 2 hours here. I think we
We
probably
did.
should go ahead and say
I haven't been on for a while, so it feels like this is
Okay.
my revenge.
it's all your fault.
I've been absent as well.
So there we go. Need to get some microcasters going again, right?
Yeah, how to get some of our energy out. I get microcaster with that RC toy and how much I want to throw it into a river, but
But his studio series,
Oh.
it looks exactly like she did in the show, in the movie.
what? Huh? Ooh,
Yeah,
she
use
looks
the
like in the
scan.
movie?
Phil, I'm with you with that on that now.
Yeah.
She holds
You said
a
it
piece of a thing.
One of the times we were all together before the movie came out.
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
And aren't
What?
we getting a new Shockwave, a new Bumblebee movie Shockwave? Wasn't he on the leak list?
Shockwave
Yeah.
and Starscream, I believe.
Yeah.
Movie 6
Star-
of the
Starscream was in the core class.
But I think it's Voyager Shockwave from Transformers 6.
I think you're right
yeah.
about that.
Which is like, hey, we gave you this crappy little core toy, and now we're going to give you something that'll actually fit in.
Yay.
Yeah. All right, we'll let Lucas finish up now.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining me tonight and discussing all this wonderful G.I. Joe stuff. Join us.
One last time.
Join us next week as we now we can't do the joke because he's gone.
We talk
Anyway.
Thundercats.
For anyone who's listening in audio, every single time that we've said G.I. Joe since Christian threatened to leave, if we said G.I. Joe again, he had laughed. He comes
There you
back
go.
after a moment, but he keeps leaving.
We'll see whether or not he comes back. But well, thank you guys for joining us tonight, and thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to Ron. Thanks to Catherine. Thanks to Zoldron. I think we had a couple other people earlier, didn't we? I'm like missing. Thanks to Francis. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me tonight. And we will see everyone next week. Not Christian, though, if we talk G.I. Joe.
Smash that like, subscribe, tell your
All right.
friends, leave your comments.
Good night,
Bye.
people.